Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, are you there?
Hare Krishna. How can I help you?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm Shamapriya Darthi from GRS Repository team.
I'm sorry. Start
yeah.
again. Start over.
I'm saying that I'm Shamapriya Darthi from the GRS Repository team. Our
Okay.
service is record Guru Maharaj's lectures, on the online Zoom lectures. So we needed your help. I just sent you a message on Zoom. So if you could allow us to record the lecture or make us a co-host, that will be very helpful.
Give me 1 second here.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure because my computer is a bit erratic. I asked another devotee to be the host. So but I told him to make me the co-host to see if I have the rights to do that. Give me 1 second.
Oh, sure.
Couldn't you, I mean, ours is being live stream. Could you just, oh, for what? Yeah, but we are live streaming in our two channels. Okay, give me a second. I'm not sure I have a chance to make you the co-host.
Oh, okay. If you go on my name, it's GRS Repository, Shamapriya Dasi, that one.
Yeah,
you go there and
I went to the docs. Yes.
Yeah. So if there is an allow to record, that is also okay.
Okay, let me see. Ask to unmute, ask to start video, chat pin, hide non-video participants, make host, rename, put in waiting room, remove report. No, that's...
Oh, okay. That's not an option. Got it.
It's not an option.
No problem, Prabhuji. That's all right. Or
1 second. Let me see. Agari Prabhu, can you hear me at this point? Yeah, because the devotee who's the host is probably milking cows right now, so it's hard to get to. Let's see.
Hello?
Yeah, Prabhu. Shama Priya Dasi, who is part of a Giriraja Swami team, is asking if she can record. How can we allow her to record the video?
She has to become the host.
Oh, that's the only way?
Yeah.
okay.
And
like in this account, you don't have the co-host option, right? That's why.
No, we only pay for one license. Co-host requires 2 licenses.
so if I make her the host, that can she start recording and then make me the host?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that, Prabhu.
Okay, so I'll make you the host. 1 second. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Do I have to start recording now, or we can wait for some time when, like in another 7 minutes, you can make me host? No, not now.
I can make you host right now. So there
Okay.
you're the host.
And not this one, Prabhuji. There is this GRS repository, Shamapriya Dasi, that account.
Oh, okay. 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, I can make.
You have to do it. You're the host now.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Are you in America?
No problem. Okay, I just got the allow to record option here as well. Now I'm trying to make you host. And I'll just try to see if I can record here.
All right.
Yeah, I can do that, Prabhu. You can be host and I can record.
Okay.
I just gave myself the right to record. That was an option.
Okay, very good. So I'm the host again.
Yes.
Very good.
So as soon as Guru Maharaj logs in, I'll start the recording that time.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Oh, you're plugging my phone. Thank you.
You clicked on it. नहीं ये तो दूसरे वाला है इसका मिनिमम
लिखा
डबल क्लिक कर दो ना इसको
इसके ऊपर
कहीं
जगन्नाथ का नाम है
ये सारे दूसरे लोग बैठे हुए हैं ना कैमरा बंद कर
अच्छा
देना
Yeah.
Mirabai, please mute yourself. Mirabai Devi Dasi, please mute yourself. Hare Krishna, Giriraja Swami, please accept my humble obeisances. Actually,
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
to be
accept my
technically
humble obeisances.
proficient.
Prabhu and Nanda Mataji.
When people ask me if I miss Santa Barbara, I say no. But the truth is, I do miss you.
Oh, well, we miss you too.
Okay, here we go.
And
Can I turn it up a little bit?
Jayananda Prabhu misses your kirtans.
The master?
Sorry?
No, this is Dacia, please mute yourself. Thank you. Yes, Jayananda. Well, what can we do? We haven't acquired the Asa cities, so we'll be here for now until we can expand ourselves.
Okay.
So let me know when you're ready to start, and I'll introduce you.
I'm ready.
Thank you. First, I can see that Mirabai Devidasi is not muted, so to avoid any problems, please, Mirabai Devidasi, please mute yourself. And I'm gonna write her a message as well. So
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm sick. I'm just trying to listen in. I've got COVID, so I'd rather not be on video.
no. I'm not asking you to turn the video on. I'm asking you to mute yourself.
It said I was muted. I apologize. Let me look.
We hope you recover quickly.
Yes. COVID is not transmissible via the internet, so we're pretty safe.
I think she might have two devices on. That's why her name pops up twice.
I see. Well, right now everybody's muted. Yes, that's okay. Well, that is correct. Yeah, one of the devices is not muted. Mirabai, so if you can check your other device and mute it as well. Thank you. All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is an ongoing thing. Raja Sundari.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Do you want me to help you with this? If you can make me the host, I can do that. We can mute from our side other participants.
One second.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, you can help me. You have access.
I'm saying if you could make me the host for once, I'll
Okay.
help you with this.
You're the host.
Not
right?
Rajasundari, not Rajasundari Mataji. Made Rajasundari Mataji.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Below there is an option beside invite me, there is an option reclaim host.
I'm sorry.
Ghari Prabhu, can you mute the devotee?
Which one? What's your name?
My name is GRS Repository, Shamapriya Dasi.
Shobha.
The one which is
Shobha Radha.
recording. Yeah, that
Okay.
one.
He's the one speaking. One second. Yeah, I'm fine.
Repository.
GRS Repository. No, you're making somebody else. You made Shobha Radha Mataji.
Yeah,
Just a moment.
Yeah, I'm.
okay, very good.
Yes, Prabhuji. Now we can go ahead.
Thank you so much. All right, let's start over. Where's
Wait, Prabhu, before you start, can Mataji just remain the host for the duration of the meeting? Because you
Okay.
have all the options on the computer. And then if something like this, because what might happen is Maharaj may mute, and then because he's not the host, you may have to, give him the privilege to unmute himself until the
Okay.
end. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's fine. So, Shamapriya, right? You will
Yes, that's all
will,
right. Prabhuji.
you will remain the host. Okay, very good. So
Yeah.
let's start now. Our speaker today is Giriraja Swami Maharaj. He's been a member of ISKCON for a very long time, since the 60s. And he started his devotional career in Boston where he was quite a student at Brandeis University, and met the devotees and helped them out, even gave him rides in his, I think you had a red station wagon Rambler, or
Yes, Red Rambler station wagon.
there you go. And you gave him a ride to the temple, and eventually met Prabhupada. And Giriraja Swami became, let's say, one of the main men of Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada had implicit trust on. He was mature, of course, at that time. Mature means over 21. So it was quite a beginning, but eventually what made him most dear to Prabhupada and to everyone is that he took on the project, the Juhu project, that devotees even advised Prabhupada to give up, that it was too much, too difficult, too far away, full of rats and mosquitoes and snakes, and with tenants that they, because of a law in India, they couldn't be kicked out, and so many problems. But Prabhupada, who knew better and saw into the future, he actually put Giriraj, then Brahmachari, in charge, and he, against all odds, stayed there and was instrumental in getting this project off the ground. Then he took sannyasi and wrote a lot of books. They're wonderful to read, and became an initiating guru, has a lot of lovely disciples, preached in South Africa and in Spain and in India. He's very loved by, he actually took upon himself to speak to some of the most influential members of the Indian high society, and they became life members and longtime helpers of our movement, and some of them got initiated, and some of them are his disciples, actually. So he's very knowledgeable. He remembers a lot. He has an incredible recall. He has read the books so many times, he can practically repeat him verbatim, and he has very good insight into the philosophy. He's a wonderful person. and he's with us today. So thank you. By all means, thank you for being with us. And today's the appearance of Sita Devi, which is a very auspicious day for all Vaishnavas. So Maharaj is going to talk about that, or any other topic that you may choose to.
I will speak about Sita Devi,
Okay.
the eternal consort of Lord Rama. So I'll begin by singing the Mangalacharana prayers and leading a short kirtan. And then I will speak about Sita Devi. And then we can have questions and answers and comments. Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasatya Deshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Jai Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paripada Acharya Stotra Sita Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paripraja Acharya Stotra Sita Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai. So today is Sita Naumi, the appearance day of Srimati Sita Devi. the eternal consort of Lord Ramachandra. She appeared as the daughter of King Janak, one of the 12 Mahajans, great authorities in Krishna consciousness, and thus one of her names is Janaki. In Valmiki's Ramayana, Sita is said to have been discovered in a furrow in a plowed field, believed to now be the city of Sita Marhi in the Mithila region of present-day Bihar. And for that reason, she is regarded as the daughter of Bhumi Devi, the goddess of earth. So to begin, I shall read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 9, Lord Chaitanya's travels to the holy places. Text 2. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu. And all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 178. Dakshinama Thura Aila Kama Kosti Haite Tahandeka Haila Eka Brahmanas Saite. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at southern Mathura from Kamakosti, he met a Brahmin. The Brahmin who met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu invited the Lord to his home. This Brahmin was a great devotee and an authority on Lord Sri Ramachandra. He was always detached from material activities. After bathing in the river Kritamala, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Brahmin's house to take lunch, but he saw that the food was unprepared because the Brahmin had not cooked it. Seeing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear sir, please tell me why you have not cooked. It is already noon." The Brahmin replied, "My dear Lord, we are living in the forest. For the time being, we cannot get all the ingredients for cooking. When Lakshman brings all the vegetables, fruits, and roots from the forest, Sita will do the necessary cooking." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied to hear about the Brahmin's method of worship. Finally, the Brahmin hastily made arrangements for cooking. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his lunch at about 3 o'clock, but the Brahmin, being very sorrowful, fasted. While the Brahmin was fasting, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "Why are you fasting? Why are you so unhappy? Why are you so worried?" The Brahmin replied, "I have no reason to live. I shall give up my life by entering either fire or water." My dear sir, Mother Sita is the mother of the universe and the supreme goddess of fortune. She has been touched by the demon Ravana, and I am troubled upon hearing this news. Sir, due to my unhappiness, I cannot continue living. Although my body is burning, my life is not leaving. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Do not think in this way any longer. You are a learned pundit. Why don't you consider the case? Sita Devi, the dearmost wife of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra, certainly has a spiritual form full of bliss. No one can see her with material eyes, for no materialist has such power. To say nothing of touching Mother Sita, A person with material senses cannot even see her. When Ravana kidnapped her, he kidnapped only her material, illusory form. As soon as Ravana appeared before Sita, she disappeared. Then, just to cheat Ravana, she sent an illusory material form. Text 194. Aprakrita vastunahe prakrita gochara Veda Puranete e Kai Nirantara. Translation. Spiritual substance is never within the jurisdiction of the material conception. This is always the verdict of the Vedas and Puranas. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Katha Upanishad, spirit is not within the jurisdiction of material eyes, words, or mind. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam states, Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridatuke svadi kalatradishu od bhaijyadi Katirtha buddhi salile nakari chid Janeshwavigeshu saeva gokara. A human being who identifies his body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of his body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of his birth to be worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to take bath, rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered like an ass or a cow. These are some Vedic statements about spiritual substance. Spiritual substance cannot be seen by the unintelligent because they do not have the eyes or the mentality to see the spirit soul. Consequently, they think there is no such thing as spirit. But the followers of the Vedic injunctions take their information from Vedic statements, such as the verses from the Katha Upanishad and Srimad Bhagavatam, quoted above. So, we know from Srila Prabhupada, from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Namachintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Varna Sudo Nityamukto Vinatvam Namanamino. Namachintamani Krishna. The holy name of Krishna is Krishna himself. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is the form of rasa, the reservoir of pleasure. It is purna, complete, shuddha, pure, and nitya mukta, always free from material contamination. Why? Because there is no difference between the holy name of Krishna and the possessor of the name, Krishna himself, Abhinatvam Namanamino. Now the question arises, since the Lord is spiritual and beyond the jurisdiction of material senses, how can one with materially covered senses touch or chant and hear the holy name of Krishna? In the next verse of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami explains, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Naba Vedgrayam Indriyai Sevan Mukhi Ijevado Swayameva Sparatyadaha. Ata means therefore, as in Tato Brahma Jigyasa. Ata, therefore, that is, because the holy name of Krishna is completely spiritual like Krishna, one cannot chant or hear the holy name, touch the holy name with materially contaminated senses. However, if we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, and the Lord becomes pleased with our service, then the Lord will reveal himself to us. In other words, Although we cannot perceive the Lord with materially contaminated senses, the Lord can reveal himself to us when he is pleased by our service. He can purify our senses and make himself visible to us. When even a sadhaka, a devotee who is practicing devotional service, cannot touch even the holy name of the Lord, how could a demon like Ravana see or touch Mother Sita, who is directly the spiritual energy of the Lord? It is not possible. What Ravana saw and touched was not the original Sita, but Maya Sita, an illusory representation of the original Sita. Thus, Lord Chaitanya was consoling the Brahmin. Don't lament that Mother Sita has been touched by the demon Ravana. The demon Ravana could not even see her, what to speak of touch her. There is no reason to lament. Text 195. Vishwasakara tumi amara vachane punarapi kuvavanana kari hamane. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then assured the Brahmin, have faith in my words and do not burden your mind any longer with this misconception. Report. This is the process of spiritual understanding. Achintya kaloye bhavat natams tarkena yojayat. We should not try to understand things beyond our material conception by argument or counter-argument. Mahajanayena gata sapanta. We have to follow in the footsteps of great authorities coming down in the parampara system. If we approach such a bona fide acharya and keep faith in his words, spiritual realization will be easy. So, in the material world, everyone is acting independently. Actually, people are not independent, but they imagine themselves to be independent. They want to think for themselves, see for themselves, make their own decisions, make their own plans. Even when they come to the subject of God, they keep the same attitude. I don't need anyone to tell me about God. I can think for myself. I can decide for myself. Or they may accept some authority according to their liking. Many people go to various authorities and pick and choose what they like from each. And in the end, they find confirmation for whatever they thought or wanted to begin with. That is not the way to understand God. Rather, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master and surrender. Surrender means no wavering to this side or that side. One must remain fixed in submission and obedience to the spiritual master and accept the spiritual master's instructions without argument, as explained in Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Of course, the whole process is based on faith, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first words are, Vishwasa karaha tumi amara vachani. Have faith in my words. If you do, he says, you will be relieved. But if you don't have faith in my words, you'll go on suffering and nobody will be able to help you. Text 196. Although the Brahmin was fasting, he had faith in the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and accepted food. In this way, his life was saved. So the Brahmin was fasting because he thought that Ravana had touched Sita and kidnapped her. He was ready to give up his life. But because he had faith in the words of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He gave up his misconception, took prasad, and saved his life. Text 197. After thus assuring the Brahmin, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded further into southern India and finally arrived at Durvasan, where he bathed in the river Kritamala. Text 199. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Setubanda, Rameshwar, where he took his bath at the place called Dhanastirtha. From there, he visited the Rameshwar temple and then took rest. This is a temple of Lord Shiva, and the name Rameshwar indicates that he is a great personality whose worshipable deity is Lord Rama. Thus, the Lord Shiva, found in the temple of Rameshwar, is a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra. It is said, Devi Patanam Arabhya Gacheo Setu Bandhanam. After visiting the temple of goddess Durga, one should go to the temple of Rameshwar. It is said that here, on the request of Ravana's younger brother, Bibhishan, Lord Ramachandra destroyed the bridge to Lanka with his bow while returning to his capital. It is also said that one who visits Dhanastirtha is liberated from the cycle of birth and death, and that one who bathes there gets all the fruitive results of performing the yajna known as Agnistoma. So, it is said that when Lord Rama was on the way to Lanka, he worshipped a deity of Lord Shiva. Some ignorant people say, because Lord Rama worshipped Lord Shiva is the supreme and Lord Rama is subordinate to him. But actually the opposite is true. Lord Shiva himself is a great devotee of Lord Rama. Sometimes, however, the Lord likes to serve his devotees, as in the case of Krishna and Yashoda. Krishna used to obey the dictations of Yasoda, but that doesn't mean that Yashoda is supreme. Krishna used to carry the shoes of Nanda Maharaj, but that does not mean Nanda Maharaj is supreme. Krishna drove the chariot of Arjuna, but that does not mean that Arjuna is greater than Krishna. Krishna washed the feet of Sudama Vipra, but that doesn't mean that Sudama is superior to Krishna. The Lord takes pleasure in worshiping his devotees. Lord Ramachandra wanted to glorify his devotee Shiva, and therefore he may have worshipped him. Other ignorant people say that because Ravana was a devotee of Lord Shiva, Rama approached Lord Shiva to ask his permission before killing Ravana. Once, at Juhu Beach, a disciple mentioned this idea to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada replied that people who say that Lord Rama had Lord Shiva's permission to kill Ravana want to say that Lord Shiva is a rascal, that he would give permission for someone to kill his devotee. Oh yes, he's my devotee, but it's all right, you can kill him. Prabhupada said they want to prove that Lord Shiva is a rascal. Rather, Prabhupada said, and he quoted the Shastra, when Rama was in the process of killing Ravana, Parvati asked Lord Shiva, Ravana is your great devotee and now he's in trouble. Why don't you do something to help him? And Lord Shiva replied, Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he wants to kill Ravana. What can I do? Yes. Krishna Mare Rake Ke, Krishna Rake Mare Ke. When Krishna wants to protect someone, who can kill him? And when Krishna wants to kill someone, who can save him? Text 200. Viprasabhaya Sunetana Kurma Purana Taramadye Aila Pavit Rata Upakyana. There, among the Brahmins, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu listened to the Kurma Purana, wherein it is mentioned the chaste woman's narration. Text 101. Srimati Sita Devi is the mother of the three worlds and the wife of Lord Ramachandra. Among chaste women, she is supreme, and she is the daughter of King Janak. When Ravana came to kidnap Mother Sita and she saw him, she took shelter of the fire god Agni. The fire god covered the body of Mother Sita, and in this way, she was protected from the hands of Ravana. Upon hearing from the Kurma Purana how Ravana had kidnapped a false form of Mother Sita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very satisfied. The fire god Agni took away the real Sita and brought her to the place of Parvati, goddess Durga. An illusory form of Mother Sita was then delivered to Ravana, and in this way, Ravana was cheated. After Ravana was killed by Lord Ramachandra, Sita Devi was brought out before the fire and tested. When the illusory Sita was brought before the fire by Lord Ramachandra, the fire god made the illusory form disappear and delivered the real Sita to Lord Ramachandra. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this story, he was very pleased, and he remembered the words of Ramdas Vipra. Indeed, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these conclusive statements from the Kurma Purana, he felt great happiness. After taking the Brahman's permission, he took possession of the manuscript leaves of the Kurma Purana. Since the Kurma Purana was very old, the manuscript was also very old. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took possession of the original leaves in order to have direct evidence. The text was copied onto new leaves in order that the Purana be replaced. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to southern Madurai, and delivered the original manuscript of Kurma Purana to Ramdas Vipra. And I'll read two verses from the Kurma Purana as quoted here in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'll read just the translation. Quote, when he was petitioned by Mother Sita, the fire god Agni brought forth an illusory form of Sita, and Ravana, who had 10 heads, kidnapped the false Sita. The original Sita then went to the abode of the fire god. When Lord Ramachandra tested the body of Sita, it was the false illusory Sita that entered the fire. At that time, the fire god brought the original Sita from his abode and delivered her to Lord Ramachandra. Report. These two verses are taken from the Kurma Purana. Text 213. Ramdas Vipra was very pleased to receive the original leaf manuscript of the Kurma Purana, And he immediately fell down before the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to cry. After receiving the manuscript, the Brahmin, being very pleased, said, "Sir, you are Lord Ramachandra himself, and have come in the dress of a sannyasi to give me audience. My dear sir, you have delivered me from a very unhappy condition. I request you take your lunch at my place. Please accept this invitation. Due to my mental distress, I could not give you a very nice lunch the other day. Now, by good fortune, you have come again to my house." Saying this, the Brahmin very happily cooked food, and a first-class dinner was offered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed that night in the house of the Brahmin. Then, after showing him mercy, the Lord started toward the Tamrapani River in Pandya Desh. So, the chastity of Mother Sita is glorified in similar terms in the summary of the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Ravana had been cursed by the anger of Mother Sita, his armies were vanquished and ultimately he was killed. Quote, Angada and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramachandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. Thus, the soldiers of Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana's soldiers who had lost all good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. After Ravana had been killed, his wife, Mandodari, praised the power of Mother Sita's chastity, addressing her husband. Quote, "O greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra." Srimad Bhagavatam 9:10-27. In his purport to this verse, Srila Prabhupada explains that any woman who follows the example of Mother Sita's chastity and service can attain similar power, and that, in fact, women should follow her ideal example. Quote, "Not only was Mother Sita powerful, but anyone who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can also become similarly powerful. There are many instances of this in the history of Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of ideal chaste women, Mother Sita is among them. Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, was also very chaste. Similarly, Draupadi was one of 5 exalted, chaste women. As a man must follow great personalities like Brahma and Narada, a woman must follow the path of such ideal women as Sita, Mandodari, and Draupadi. By staying chaste and faithful to her husband, a woman enriches herself with supernatural power. Although Mother Sita was completely pure and chaste, some ignorant citizens criticized Lord Rama for accepting her back after she had been abducted by Ravana, and to preserve his authority as king and for the benefit of the citizens, he was obliged to consign her to the care of the great sage Valmiki Muni. By her transcendental qualities and devotional service, Sita Devi attracted her husband, Lord Ramachandra, the personality of Godhead. And after she completed her pastimes on earth, he remained absorbed in thought of her. while perfectly executing his royal duties until he followed her to continue their eternal Leela in the spiritual world. So Srimad Bhagavatam 9:11-15. Being forsaken by her husband, Sita Devi entrusted her 2 sons to the care of Valmiki Muni. Then, meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, she entered into the earth. And the next verse, after hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was certainly aggrieved. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, he could not check his grief in transcendental love. Of course, the Lord's grief upon hearing the news of Sita Devi's entering the earth was not material. In the spiritual world, there are also feelings of separation, but such feelings are a manifestation of the Lord's internal potency, Ladini Shakti, and give rise to transcendental bliss, although they resemble the miserable feelings experienced by ordinary men and women who are materially attached to each other. And Srimad Bhagavatam 9:11-18. After Mother Sita entered the earth, Lord Ramachandra observed complete celibacy and performed an uninterrupted Agnihotra Yajna for 13,000 years. Then in the next verse, after completing the sacrifice, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet were sometimes pierced by thorns when he lived in the Dandakaranya, placed those lotus feet in the hearts of those who always think of him. Then he entered his own abode, the Vaikuntha planet beyond the Brahmajyoti. Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Ki Jai. So there's an important lesson for all of us here, whether we are in a man's body or a woman's. Sita Devi is the energy of Lord Ram, the property of Lord Rama, and to take the property of the Lord for one's sense gratification is demonic. Ravana was a scholar, a devotee of Lord Shiva, and he had many, many good qualifications. However, he had one fault that put him in the category of demons. He wanted to take the Lord's property and enjoy it for himself. People in Kali Yuga have 2 sides, the devotee side and the demon side. The demon side wants to take the property of the Lord and enjoy it, like Ravana. So we must be careful that the demonic side does not become predominant. Otherwise, just as Ravana and his whole dynasty were destroyed, our spiritual life will be destroyed. So, on this occasion, we pray to Mother Sita to bless us to become pure-hearted servants like Hanuman, Lakshman, and Mother Sita herself, and to save us. Whatever Ravana-like demonic tenets we have, let them be vanquished by her mercy, by her will, so that we may continue our devotional service without any impediment and ultimately attain pure love, prema, our ultimate goal. So when I was a devotee during Srila Prabhupada's time, I heard that that all of our service here in the material world is ultimately meant to bring Radha and Krishna together in the spiritual world. So I asked Srila Prabhupada about it, and he said that Sita, I mean, Radharani is the original goddess of fortune. Sita is also an expansion of Radharani. She's also a goddess of fortune. So Srila Prabhupada said that that Sita is in the hands of the Ravanas, the materialistic people in the Western world. And just as Lord Ramachandra crossed the ocean to rescue Sita from Ravana, so I crossed the ocean and, went from India to America to rescue Sita Lakshmi from the hands of the Ravanas or the materialists there. And just as Lord Rama was assisted by so many monkeys, so I was assisted by all of you. So that is Srila Prabhupada's mercy. And so, my dear devotees, thank you for listening so patiently and attentively. And now, if any of you have any questions or comments or reflections that you would like to share, you can raise your hand, your physical hand or your virtual hand. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I see Sarvatma's hand is up.
I will defer to Sahadev to begin. I will go after him.
All right, Sahadev Prabhu, you begin.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, and thank you, Savatma Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, thank you so much for giving us association. It's always blissful to have your association. And thank you for sharing Srimati Sita's katha. You said that there are lots of lessons to be learned from what you shared with us, which is true. But I also find few things that seem to be lessons not probably appropriate for some of us to apply. One is the Brahmin who was morose because he felt that Sita had been captured by Ravana. And the Lord Chaitanya explained to him that actually Ravana did not take the actual Sita. It is a false Sita. For us as devotees, if we begin to think and behave that the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Lord, nothing can affect him. And therefore, when it is cold on the altar, the deities do not need proper clothing. We become callous, because what Lord Chaitanya was telling this Brahmin could lead him to become callous that after all, it's a Sita, nothing can touch her. So how do we as aspiring neophyte, struggling devotees see the Supreme Lord, that even though he's the Supreme Lord, nothing can overcome him, but we also have to relate with him as if he needs something that we need to do for him. Because if we don't do that, then I do not see how we're going to grow. That is my question, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, what you said is absolutely right, that when we serve the deity, the first thing is we have to understand that the deity is a person. You have to see the deity as a person. And it is our duty to see to the comforts and pleasure of the deity. And so we cook for the deity, we dress the deity, we decorate the deity, we offer worship to the deity, we put the deity to rest, then we wake up the deity, and that is our duty. And by serving the deity in that way, we can awaken our dormant love for Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami enumerates 64 items of devotional service. And he says that of these 64 items, 5 are most potent. And by even a slight association with any one of the 5, one can awaken dormant love for Krishna. The 5 are Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vasa, and Murti Sharanvita Sevana. So one of the 5 is to serve the deity with faith and veneration. That's one of the 5 most potent items of devotional service. And in that service, one thinks of the deity as a person. The deity is a person. And one is mindful of the fact that the deity is a person. And one attends to all the comforts and pleasures of the deity, just as one would as a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So yeah, we can't say, oh, you're omnipotent, you can feed yourself, you don't need us to feed you. That would not be the proper mentality at all. Hare Krishna.
I do have a question, another question in the line of what's a big deal category. Well, the Lord Ramachandra is omniscient. He's not, he's privy to all the arrangements that Yoga Maya, demigods, and anybody else may make. And he knew that Ravana didn't take the real Sita. He was very aware of that. So what's a big deal? Is this one of those things that need to be a Leela, that has to be an act for the benefit of everyone? What's your take on, because he could have revealed, Lord Ramachandra could have revealed to everyone, oh no, never mind, he took a material form, we don't have to bother, there's not going to be a Ramayana, we'll concentrate on the next.
Yes, yes, there are many lessons to be learned from the Ramayana, and in order to teach us those lessons, Lord Ramachandra went through the process of going to Lanka and killing Ravana and retrieving Sita. And there's an instructive incident that took place at the southern tip of India, because in order to reach Lanka, Rama needed a bridge. And so the monkeys led by Hanuman were heaving these huge boulders into the ocean, and they were floating, and that made the bridge. So at the seaside, there was a squirrel flicking grains of sand into the water to form it part of the bridge. And Hanuman rebuked the squirrel and said, get out of my way. Can't you see I'm heaving these huge boulders and you're just getting in the way. And the squirrel said, but I want to serve Lord Rama too. And Lord Ramachandra overheard the conversation and he chided Hanuman and he said that, you are serving me to your capacity and the squirrel is serving me to her capacity. So in my eyes, both of your services are equal. And then he said, and besides, I'm the one who's making the boulders float. So why are you taking the credit? So, yeah, from this we should respect every devotee's service, however big or small, according to their capacity. And not be proud of our service and appreciate the service of others. Yeah.
I have a second question unrelated to the first one. And it's interesting that you mentioned about the squirrel, because I heard about a sparrow and Divya heard about a spider in the same story. So there seemed to be a different in Leela, some vertebrates, some invertebrates. And also I find that even when you read about Sita being taken first to Parvati's abode, and then in another section you read that she was taken to Agni's abode. So seems to be a difference, technical difference, or a difference in perspective, which I'm not sure could be adjudicated to perhaps the same pastime took place, in different universes and different areas. And one time was a sparrow, one time was a spider, one time was a squirrel, or that Sita went to Agni's place in one particular universe and went to Parvati's place in another universe. So there seems to be a disparity, even among the acharyas and commentators. There's discrepancy. There's never discrepancy in tattva and siddhanta, but there is many times one finds discrepancy with Leela. So can you elaborate on that?
I never heard sparrow, but I did hear spider. But what I understood, because that came in the early days of the movement, and I think, well, I don't want to speculate, but what I think is that maybe the devotees who were transcribing Srila Prabhupada's words took squirrel as spider. But yes, I did hear spider. I never heard sparrow. But yeah, I also noticed that about her being taken to the abode of Durga and also to the abode of Agnidev. And but the overriding account is she was taken to the abode of Agnidev that is mentioned several times. Maybe she, I'm really doing a lot of speculating here. Maybe she stopped at the abode of Durga on the way to the abode of Agnidev. But anyway, yeah. You need to chant the holy name attentively. Yeah, purify our consciousness so we can better understand these intricacies.
Anything easier than that?
Sorry?
Anything easier than that?
Take sumptuous prasad.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
So Sahadev Prabhu, is your hand up again or is it from before?
Yes, Maharaj, my hand is up again. I'm sorry.
Right.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, we just heard that souls in male's body should try to look up to certain great personalities and try to emulate them. Similarly, souls in the female body should also try to look up to great personalities like Yashoda, like Mandodari, which is Ravana's wife, and great Vaishnavis.
Mhm.
Now, my question is, because as devotees, we oftentimes, unfortunately, we become very clever instead of very intelligent, that when we want to do, excuse me, to say something nonsense, we find a quotation from the scriptures and act upon that. And that is, Mandodari was very chaste, very devotee, great devotee of the Lord, and she was married to a demon. She knew what her husband was doing wasn't right. She discouraged him, she advised him, she did everything she could to prevent her husband from kidnapping Sita. The husband never listened to her. So somebody may say that as a wife, as long as you are married to your husband, no matter what your husband does, you put up with him. And this is causing a lot of problems. So my question is, what do we do as struggling devotees if we have a spouse who is preventing us from serving the Lord and the Guru and the Vaishnavas? They do not even want to hear anything about Krishna. What do? Do we still stay with the spouse, or what do? I don't think we can just say, okay, I'm going to be like Mandodari and stay with Ravana. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
So you're asking, what if someone's wife is discouraging them from practicing Krishna consciousness?
Especially if someone's husband, because usually they, as they say, the husbands are more troublesome than the wives.
Husbands are more
troublesome.
So can you rephrase the question?
Okay, in effect, if a Vaishnavi is married to a man, and this man is anti-Krishna, anything Krishna, what should the woman do?
She should engage in devotional service to Krishna and be Krishna conscious, and try to avoid conflict with her husband, and maybe if she has to be discreet about her practices. That situation you described does happen. And of course, she should not give up her Krishna consciousness under any circumstances, but she should try to conduct herself in such a way that her that she avoids coming into conflict with her husband. Yeah, there's a very nice verse in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that says that, you know, I'm paraphrasing it, but it says that, you know, family members may advise one not to proceed in Krishna consciousness. And externally, this is what the Bhagavatam says. Externally, one should say, yes, you have given me very good advice. But internally, one should remain fixed in one's determination. So, Malati Dasi, your hand is up.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances unto the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to your divine grace. Guru Maharaj, as there are 9 processes of devotional service, and it's said that if you follow or perfect in one of those, you are eligible to go back to Godhead. Now my question is, like, in a Grahastha life, we are almost following almost all chanting, hearing, you know, deity worship, serving, and you are like a type of divided into so many of them. You can't concentrate on one, and as you concentrate on one, like obviously if I chant and hear, I love to do that, but I somewhere or the other neglect deity worship. So it is an aparadh. So how to balance everything in Grahastha life, and heart goes for one or two. So how to follow that, Guru Maharaj? Can you please help me out?
Yeah, well, as you said, there are 9 processes. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. And one can attain perfection by executing any one of them, or 2 or 3, or all 9 of them. But generally, it's good for us to engage in many of them, because we like variety. We need variety. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. So it's good that we engage in many of them, and especially, you know, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and Archanam. As that Archanam is one of the 5 most potent items of devotional service. And I don't exactly see that it's related to being in Grihastha ashram or what ashram, you know, any ashram, but I think it's good to have that variety, but definitely Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and Archanam are important and necessary.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
And there's another verse that describes how, you know, different devotees became perfect in different of the 9 processes, and Hanuman is the example of a devotee who attained perfection through dasya. So Mitravinda and Nadia. Mitravinda and Nadia, you have your hand up.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, thank you so much for offering your time to us. Please accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and his infinite mercy in this process of bhakti, which we're all able to partake of freely. My question is relatable to aspects of how we, or myself, I should say, I don't want to blanket everyone, in our imperfect states of learning this process. How are we to understand intrinsically what chastity means and how it relates to this path? And along with, this in this age of Kali Yuga, there are so many instances where, in relationships between men and women through vivaha, the Vedic marriage ceremony, or any ceremony that's relatable to commitments to God, Krishna, in our immature states. How are we understanding abuse of women, even though we are not our bodies, aspects of control that are relatable to jivas in male bodies because of the energies or what have you, and our position as students and feelers. So many emotions come up when somebody says chaste. What does this mean? Whether someone is practicing Krishna consciousness or aspiring to, how are we helping them understand this word chaste and control or perceived aspects of control? And there's so much rampant abuse in spiritual societies that is kind of just blind-eyed. How are we moving through that in order to practice bhakti with compassion and understanding in these leelas? Thank you, Maharaj.
Well, we should be chaste. I mean, both in our relationships with, like a woman should be chaste and faithful to her husband. And we should also, I would say, be chaste in our loyalty to Srila Prabhupada and his parampara, and not sort of go here and there. As far as abuse goes, there's different ways of looking at it, but the way I see it is that the woman is a Vaishnavi, and therefore to abuse her is a Vaishnav aparad, which is very serious and should be avoided at all costs. And if, by chance or misfortune, someone commits Vaishnav aparad, the only way to get relieved is to, beg forgiveness from the Vaishnav or Vaishnavi. And of course, not repeat that abusive behavior. But yeah, it's a problem when there's abuse. Yeah, I'm not sure if I exactly addressed your question. I'm not sure exactly what your question was, but yeah, I really pray that this abuse will stop. Yeah, it's really bad. for both. Of course, it's in one way it's bad for the person who's abused, but it's also bad for the abuser who's committing that serious offense.
Any other questions or comments, devotees? Oh, there it is. Yogindra Balhara himself. Please unmute yourself.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. I'm asking a question, maybe you know about it or may not know about it. Since you have been quite near to Srila Prabhupada, I visited the temple in Mayapur, and there I did not see any deities of Rama. I saw the deities, that the place for the deities for the others, but I did not. Was there any reason behind it, or was it understood that Rama and Krishna are the same, so why to put both of them together?
So primarily we're devotees of Krishna. In Juhu, Srila Prabhupada suggested that we have Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman because he said there are many devotees of Ram in Bombay. And in our temple in Potomac, Washington, D.C., we also have Sita Ram. And Srila Prabhupada felt that because Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States, the seat of the government. So Rama should be there as the example of the ideal ruler. So there were places where Srila Prabhupada did introduce the deities of Ram, Sita Ram. But generally, we worship Radha and Krishna, Gaur-Nitai, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. Those are the deities that we most frequently find on the altars of ISKCON temples. I personally don't see why there should particularly be a deity of Rama in Mayapur.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Any other question, devotees? Also, there is a deity of Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman in the temple in Delhi, and also at the Bhaktivedanta Manor in London, near London. So we have quite a few temples that have these of Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, just not all of them.
Yeah, that's true.
And there is if I may say, there was an incident between Rupa Goswami and his younger brother, Anupama, where Lord Chaitanya, of course, instructed everybody to chant Hare Krishna, and Anupama was very attached to chanting the name of Ram. So obviously, he was advised to change his mantra and start chanting Hare Krishna, and he did. He was obedient, and he was, very pure. But he started crying and said that he could not give it up. He could not give up chanting the name of his Lord Ram. And Lord Chaitanya praised them. That didn't say, no, you're in the wrong age. This is not Treta Yuga anymore. So you have to, Kali Yuga, have to chant Hare Krishna. No, tell him, very good. Excellent. Chant Sitaram. Any others? Revati, are you lifting your hand? Do you want to unmute yourself, please?
Hare Krishna Ganesh. I accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for the class. You were talking about how we could pray to Sita Devi, and I just thought maybe at the end of the class, you could repeat that and maybe elaborate just a little more on how we could pray to her.
Pray to her for what?
Well, you mentioned that we could pray to her, and
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. What I said was that we can pray to her to bless us to become pure-hearted servants like Hanuman Lakshman and Mother Sita herself, and to save us. And whatever Ravan-like demonic tendencies we have, let them be vanquished by her mercy, by her will. So we may continue in our devotional service without any impediment and ultimately attain pure love of God, prema, our ultimate goal. So yes, that is a good prayer.
I wanted to hear it again so that it would maybe go a little deeper in my heart. Thank you.
Okay, you heard it again. Do you want to hear it another time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good prayer.
Thank you, Gurush.
Any more questions or comments? Seems not.
If that is the case, well, I will encourage. First, I want to thank you on my behalf and on behalf of all the Gita Nagari community for honoring us with your presence and your insights in your talk. And I will encourage, as it's customary to us, that we ask for cacophony at the end of a good lecture, and ask everybody to unmute themselves and offer their gratitude in person. So thank you. Please, devotees, unmute yourselves and offer your.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Lots of love
Hare
for you. Sending love.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Vaishnava Devi Namo Namaha. Thank you, Maharaj.
So I would say we're ending now. We should conclude with Vaishnava Pranam. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees. Just like desired tree, fulfill the desires of everyone.
Full compassion for the fallen conditioned souls.
Ika Sindhu Vacha Patitanam.
I hope you enjoy the concert of voices.
I did immensely.
Thank you. Thank you again. Hare Krishna, devotees. For those who are in Gitanagari or anywhere else, tomorrow we promise a weekend of wisdom, and this was a highlight. And tomorrow morning here in Gitanagari, directly from London, we have Chiti Shakti. She's a very nice devotee, as a licensed psychiatrist, has been helping devotees all over the movement. And she's an excellent speaker. So if you wish to tune in, I will actually put in the chat the link for all of you to be able to attend. Again, our gratitude to His Holiness Giriraja Swami. Please try to listen to his lectures and read his books. You won't be disappointed. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.